I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own emancipation proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. Our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
No way to give. I'm glad you just said all my bloopers. We're on live on air. Hey, family, this is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live from Mott Branch Library, and we talk about the things that we've done last week. We were busy last week. The things that we've got going on right now, and a few of the things that we got coming up in the future. Hopefully, we have a city council forum coming up.
We will.
All right, and we'll check in with the Wayman Palmer YMCA. And check in with Suzette over there. So Suzette, if you're watching, I'm going to be stopping by to just check on things to see what's happening. Let's get into some introductions, and then we'll get into our mission statement and guiding principle. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey, and also I'm an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo, and we'll show this week's edition of The Final Call. However, it was Jabril Bey and Mike Leonardi way back in 2014, and Jody Hill talked about this during our mission statement, that it was them that had the idea of Community Solidarity Day. And then they asked me to come and help with some other events that they were going to do. And I guess after we had the thing at the protest, not the thing, the protest at the Lucas County court common police courthouse, everything started. Hey, what am I wearing today? Let me bring down, give me 1 second, family. I want to just, I think I got the our banner right in front of me.
Flashy things coming.
Yeah, the banner is right in front, Well, I have on a green shirt, and the green shirt says "Channel the Energy," and maybe we'll talk about that today too. Let's see. There we go. All right. It says channel. Together. Yeah, it says channel the energy. And this is from Black Lives Matter Day back in 2015. Mm-hmm. All right, 2015. I've got my black hat on. I got my glasses by Optical, Twix in between. And whenever you see my sister Kristen Moncrief in the Optical van, or
we just had a birthday.
All right, okay. Are you gonna say how old she is?
I'm just gonna say happy birthday.
Good, because I lose my discount. All right. And I've got I don't have my beads on, Jody. But as always, I'm dedicated to respecting and protecting all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. And this platform is for the activist community and the protest culture. We need to find a way to have our own platform to talk about what we wanted to talk about and who we wanted to talk about, and also who we want to bring on and share a good word with you about some of the things that's going on in the city. Jody, I think that's it for my introduction. I said my green shirt, channel the energy. You've got one of these too.
I do have one of those.
And I tried to wear mine the same day I thought you were wearing yours. All right. I didn't want to call you up and say, hey, can you wear that green shirt? All right.
But I got the red and you got the black hat, so we still got the flag on.
All right. I see what you did there. Hey, that's it for me. Hey, could you introduce yourself? Looks like you got a couple of extra necklaces today. All right, charms today. And then we'll get right into our mission statement.
All right, what's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. No extras, just some things have been restrung and stuff like that, so they move how they want to around my neck and everything like that to remind me of places. I might put some of my pyrite on that I got from Cedar Point last weekend, but right now I think we're good with all the stuff. I mean, I do work a regular job in the kitchen, so it's got to be covered up. I do have my what did you call them? The beads on?
Yeah, your beads.
And everything. And as always, I want to thank you for coming each and every single week. This has been a very long process, especially going into our 6th year as not so much a topic or talk show, but a community show. Something that brings people into the community that would not get a chance to speak because they're not going viral and they don't do stuff that's antagonizing or controversial. They're just doing good work in their community. So we fit in a niche amongst that audience of podcasts and people looking for topics and stuff. We bring the topics or we go
That's
to
right.
the topics.
That's right.
I was just at the premiere of The Paper, which is a show based on Toledo and all the stuff, and thinking about how the good old days of news reporting was. We would actually go out and get the story and not just click and move some boxes around on your screen. It was really, really interesting, but I'll talk more about that later. Again, we want to thank you for coming each and every single week. The reason why we describe ourselves is because we know we have our podcast on many different platforms, and on Spotify, you can't even see our lovely faces.
That's right.
You just get all these vibes through the headphones or whatever devices. Plus, we describe ourselves because you could be driving and going to take kids to sports and stuff like that. This is around the time where if you work 9 to 5, you don't want to be bothered with nothing. And hopefully you're not looking at your screen, but I'm a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones and artifacts from doing this for the past 11 years, from writing books and opening arenas and joining political parties and doing anarchist things and all of that stuff over the years that have made me me, even dropping off stuff to libraries where they say they don't want them.
Come on, don't get us kicked out of this place too. All right. We just got here. All right.
The ebbs and flows of life that makes
that's what's up.
Each individual. So we want to thank you also as a shameless plug, and I'm going to end the show with this too. As Brother Washington was saying, we are doing our first community forum for the mayor and city council within a month or so.
That's right.
Before the end of October, because November is election day. We still need you to get out there and do the voting process and stuff. I know there's so many distractions, people and book burning and AI stuff, but it is important because they count on you not to. As long as you're not, they're not going to do it. So if you are an organization, ACLU, grassroots organizations, we are not accepting any sponsorship from political parties. So if you have one of those, NAACP, and you would like to be a part of this forum, because we know how things go, we've been managing events for 11 years now.
Yeah.
So, if you got the idea and want to throw into the pot so we could all have a community forum that is sponsored by us at the Wayman Palmer, reach out to us. You'll find more details at the end of the show. But how do you get to this? How do you discern between whether you want to save the trees, save the people, make sure that guy down the street has his identity plastered everywhere so he'll never be a cop again? It's a lot. You deal with everything. It will tug on you mentally, physically, and spiritually, because there are a lot of people who get in to become provocateurs who aren't really about movements, but they're about to see how much information they could gain to make it crumble. And this is how we've done that with our mission statement
and our guiding principles. I'm glad you got to that. Took the scenic route to get there, but all right.
But we only get like an hour and a half. It's tough for people to see the process of 11 years.
Yeah, I'll get you.
Hour and a half. So our mission statement, our guiding principles is what's kept us on this road for 11 years. Some people did not make it when we first started out and everything, and you'd like to hear it? Here it go. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, provoked, attacked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right, and for all those that see our title, they see the CSRN Week in Review, and then they see called to preach. And I know people are like, okay, now what are they doing? All right. I thought they were just protesters. Well, we got something special for you today, something really special today. We want to talk about our guiding principles. Always thought that bringing all of the protesters together and having one movement or one organization on paper that looks like a disaster, because all of us have our strong attitudes and preferences about how things are supposed to go. But in 2015, we found this group, the Movement for Black Lives, convening and clear some guiding principles that brought everybody together regardless of creed or class. And these are our guiding principles. All Black lives matter: queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And Ashe means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe.
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe.
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
I don't think you said anything about the beat camera today, because we had the.
Hey,
all right,
buddy.
yeah, we got it. I finally got things right today, that we didn't have to go back and apologize for the technical difficulties. Hey, Jody, what I want to do right now, we want to take a short break, and then we're going to get into that title that says Call to Preach. But, hey, you'll figure out when we come back. Hey, this is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers, because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. The program has fatherhood classes, which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it. We have to breathe it. We have to do it. We have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, I would say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
And shout out to Brothers United, man. Be you.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent, and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. And big shout out to Mott Branch Library, Kevin, Olivia, Teresa, and everybody here that rolls out the red, black, and green carpet every week. So shout out to Mott Branch Library for giving us this space. And we kind of make a makeshift studio here. Yeah, all right. Like and so, all right, however, there's a title that says Call to Preach. We're going to swap that out, all right? But whenever we have a guest at CSRN, we always ask who they are, what they're wearing, and what are we talking about. So this is unlike any other time. So who are you? What are you wearing today? And what are we talking about?
Okay, so I'm Rob Smith, Mr. Smith, Coach Smith, Minister Smith. I'm currently a teacher at Riverside Elementary in a mostly 6th to 8th ED room. I teach Sunday school. I do different ministries at different churches. We, with the title of the show, we're just starting a podcast, Pushing for Word.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm wearing. I got on a Mud Hens hat, red, white, and blue flag as the emblem. Dark blue glasses. Blue Riverside Jet shirt, khaki pants.
Okay. All right.
My description, I think I'm around 6'3", white guy, mostly red beard. I'm starting to get some grays, especially after this last year.
All right.
Bunch of tattoos. Got my pray to end abortion, what would Jesus do bracelet. Couple little green bracelets, one that my daughter made me.
All right, so you fitting right in.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
all right. I think that I met you first when I think we were on Angola. I was on Angola with Roberto Torres, and we had kind of an awareness thing going on there. And you and I talked about the word. We talked about faith, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I like that. And later on, we got together. And we said, hey, look, let's do something together. All right. And I love this platform because it allows whatever we choose. And because of CSRN is independent and unbought, we don't have to have a committee
Amen.
and send it up the chain and wait for somebody to tell us that we can sit down or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have to do that. So here we are. I wanted to ask you this question, man. What made you a witness for your faith like this and being able to walk the walk and talk the talk? When did that happen for you?
As far as a witness, I like to say you have to you bear it and then you bear witness.
Okay.
So I could go in lots of directions or there's many starting points. I remember when I was a kid, seeing certain things, and one of the biggest impacts on me was seeing my father's story. His story is my story. He was in prison, reform schools most of his life. Excuse me. I think he said between 5 and 40, he was home for one Christmas. He was a convicted murderer, armed robbery, you name it, gangster. And when he was in prison, he found God. He was reborn, and from the time he got out, he made it his objective to show and tell people that there's another way. And when I was young, I was rebellious. I went and did what a lot of young men do. But as I got older, I learned and understood that if you're trying to do something impactful, if you're truly trying to help lift people up or bring them out of oppression, you're going to suffer and you're going to struggle with them. The same way he struggled and suffered to change what he could around him.
We were talking about that struggle earlier, and how do you deal with that? And that's going to come up in our self-care part of it. All right. So you're a graduate of Wait.
Yes, sir.
All right.
2001.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Whoa, what was I doing
Go
in
Indians.
2001? I was a whole adult. Oh, all right. Oh man. What was it like for you attending Wait at that time? And what were some of the challenges in that time? And what do you see any changes now?
Okay. I feel like when we were there, we had a better sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
More people helping each other out. But it was still a challenge for me in my life. I always had this decision to make: do I play sports? Do I do extracurriculars, or do I go get a job? And for me in high school, it got to a point where I had to quit playing the sports and I had to go work to help out. And I think that that issue or those types of issues are now worse than they were then. Sadly, we get this false idea or sense of safety or community or whatever whatever it is, that everything's okay and everything's changing. But really, looking back, there's parts of neighborhoods and that area where nothing has changed at all for the people living in those areas.
And going back to the faith component, how do you see the approach to faith changing? Because you said that things haven't gotten better. And I always like to say that children are actors and they act out what they see in us. And I really can't be down on the youth if I'm a part of that population that's supposed to be transferring wisdom.
Yeah.
Obviously there's something that I'm not doing, or I'm not doing it enough, and I'm not doing it for an intensity to make a difference. Sure, I could say, well, I had a podcast. Well, Washington, come on, bro. All right, you got 7 listeners, all right, and they're all over 40. All right, so how do you see the approach to faith changing or evolving in order to do better of what we're doing?
So I feel that, and this isn't just a Toledo issue or Ohio issue. I think it's a Western issue where we've tried everything but God. We've tried everything but faith. And you know, we all have different things we idolize. I've done it when I was young. I've testified about it on our podcast.
Yeah.
But and I think that young people especially, they haven't been given the opportunity to see that there's something other than what man has constructed, or they haven't been given the ability to go out and see and experience something other than what man has given them. And there's much more than what we can offer.
All right. I like whenever I hear someone say that, what was it that changed your mind? You know, when did you see that there was more? Because some people think that all there is on the internet or on television. What was it that made you see different?
So I think it's the fruits of what we do, reaping what we sow. And I started to see the impact that my actions had on the people around me, and then the impact that it had on the people around them, and on and on. And I started to notice, especially through prayer and asking to be guided in the right directions, where if I would put out the right things, then I would see good things happen and good things would come back. And I mean, as far as moments, there's been many moments. I've been born again many times.
Okay, I like that. I never heard that before, but all right.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay. You should be writing this down, Jody. Yeah. All right.
To be new, you have to let the old self die.
Okay.
Man's understanding of that, I've heard, is that every 7 years, all of our genes are they're all new. Whatever was there of 7 years ago is no longer here. That's our pitiful understanding of it. But I think the same thing happens spiritually. We have to, as you learn more, as you grow more, as you understand more, you have to completely let the other person that was there die. Whatever your ignorances were, your biases, you have to kill it and move on to that new life or that new thing that you understand.
All right, so we kind of got a spiritual clinic going on today. All right, so
I'm trying.
So if that's true, and I'm in agreement with that, how does that take place? Because there's a lot of people that's struggling. My primary job is in mental health and addiction, and I see it every day. You know, people are struggling with just that thing of letting that old self go in order for something else to occupy that space. Man, how do you go about that? For you, all right? How do you go about it for you? Hopefully somebody's hearing this, all right?
It's tough. So the first thing I thought when you asked the question was the board behind me. And my mind always goes in, all these different directions. But in my experience, and from what I see and understand in all of our institutions and from the ground up, is that there are people, there's a push from the bottom. There's a real push, especially here in Toledo. But there's also pushback from the top. And until the two sides can compromise or one can consume the other, it's just a fight of faith and prayer and hope.
Well, I'm pushing from the bottom. Part of the older culture that pushes down, and we're weakening. So there's going to be no compromise. All right, we're done with that. Within the protest culture, at one point we would have a protest, and there would always be an older guy that comes out and says, "Well, now is not the time. Let's go back home. Let's pray on it. Cooler heads prevail." And we've always been told that whenever we've asked questions, hey, just go home. Now it's not the time. Well, I don't see that us pushing up from the bottom, stopping, you know, and like I said, there's no negotiation with that. That world is going out. The world, I'm 62, so I know that we've exhausted our deception. All right.
Yeah.
I know that we've told the last lie, and I know that we recycled all of the lies. That's why this age group is getting caught now.
Yeah.
That's why this age group has nothing else to offer other than, Robert, I think now is not the time, or just believe. We're doing the best that we can.
Yeah,
No,
they're tired of hearing it.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Right. They're not doing the best they can. And they're hoping that you'll stop. And I say this to all of my those leaders in the faith business, and you know who you are, because I know where all the bodies are buried. And I say that one day, people like Robert, I think Jody, I don't know if Jody's going to be in that group, but they're going to load us in pickup trucks and drag us through the city because we know better.
Good luck.
But we won't tell you, hoping that you will kind of spiritually die again so that we can regain our presence or our control, but that's slipping away. And I'm here for that.
Yeah. It's the, some would say it's the most critical time to be alive in human history.
Yeah.
The most important time to be arises now. We're going into a new age. We see advances in growth faster than we can perceive and understand. Yeah. I mean, with AI, it's 20 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
It's doing things that our mind won't understand for another 20 years. But at the same time, there's a human element that has to still be human and still not be consumed by the gadgets and the things around it. But young people are seeking that, and young people are seeing us and seeing the way that we've failed them. And people in leadership have failed them, and they're saying, we're not going for this anymore. We need something different.
Yeah. And they're looking to people like you, and I'll back you on that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll back you on that, because our young people are figuring it out. They're figuring out that we're full of it. They figured out that we've lied about everything from Santa Claus to pro wrestling. All right. Hey, we've done that. All right. We've done that. I just want to stay there. And when they're ready, they're going to need leadership, not to guide them back to a political party, or not to guide them back to a old way of thinking, because there's
the truth.
Yeah, to the truth. Yeah. And our young people, they deserve that. They deserve to ask questions. They deserve to ask a follow-up question. And for the young people that are watching this, you got to be studied.
Yeah.
You got to be studied to beat us. All right. Because we can only take two follow-up questions. So if you can prepare 3 follow-up questions, you got us. All right. Because we're barely able to give one response to your question. Yeah. So that's our kryptonite.
Keep
at
asking.
At least three questions, because we've always been taught from my time was to respect your elders. But some of us as elders, we don't deserve to be respected. All right. And we use that as a control thing, to respect your elders, so that you don't ask those critical questions. And we wonder why there's depression, there's despair, there's heartbreak, there's hopelessness. It's because of our negligence of transferring wisdom. And it's like you really can't expect to do that to humanity and not pay a cost.
Yeah, that's sinful.
Right.
To have something to offer to help people and not give it.
Yeah. Well, this is the time that we're this older generation, and I would say maybe 55 and up, we're done kicking the can. We can't kick it any longer. There's no place.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So there's going to be a reckoning, and we're going to have to be here for it. And one of one of the currencies is going to be our relationships, because there's going to be a time that we may not be able to go freely to Kroger's and Myers like you're doing now. I mean, what you see overseas could easily be here. And we have to ready ourselves. You have to know who your friends are. We have to make connections now.
Yeah.
We may need to go with Jody to steal gas. Where do we steal the gas?
Yeah, where's
all
the
right?
food at?
Where's the food at? All right. And let's go together.
Yeah.
All
Who
right.
do we need to protect? What do we
Let's go to
medical supplies?
Absolutely.
Whatever.
All of those things are coming into play, and young people are asking about that. And they deserve to know the truth. Hey, be ready. Learn how to fast. Work out. All right. Do a push-up. All right. Learn how to defend yourself. We're going to have our sister Haley is going to come back on, and she does the personal security so that we don't have to just walk around unknowing. All right. I got a couple other questions. Man, this is dope. I like this. All right. You had a recent birthday. Oh, and family, every time we have a guest on, we go into stalker mode on all of their platforms in their pages, and we found that brother had a birthday. What have you learned about yourself? All right, you're another year older. All right, what's up with that?
So this last year, if we're being open and honest, I had a divorce custody, and I mean I've battled addiction, I've battled spirits, I've battled institutions. I feel like I'm always battling something. Mm-hmm. There's always these times where you say, this is the hardest thing I've been through, and this is, the toughest thing I've been through. And the last year was trying. The last couple of months I've had, relief. I'm finding peace. I'm finding myself again. But I think I try to always learn about myself. I always reflect. I read and reflect. I pray and reflect. At the end of my day, I try to think of the interactions I've had and how it went with who I had them with, and how to follow up on that interaction, and be very conscious of to the most minute level on what I'm putting out into the world, to make sure that I'm not doing any harm or leading anybody astray. But I'm trying to learn to balance that with my own personal struggles, and as the scripture says, to you fill your cup and your cup runs over. But if I keep emptying my cup, then I have nothing to give anybody else. And I've always struggled with that.
All right,
but I'm getting better with that in my years.
Well, in the activist community, I'm glad you brought the element of faith and spirituality, because sometimes within the activist community, that faith and that spirituality component doesn't always mix, because no one wants to be preached to, no one wants to be evangelized. And as a Muslim, I realize that, so I may have to bring Robert on to say it. All right, so we call that self-care. All right, and I'm glad that you brought it from a spiritual aspect, because a lot of us, no matter who you are, there's a spiritual component to the struggle. All right. So what is it that you do for self-care? How do you pour back in after pouring out?
I try to do mind, body, spirit. I try to again clear my head. I when I'm at my best, I write a lot, I record a lot, just almost as a dump to get it out of my mind. Spiritually, I pray. I try to keep that relationship with God, because over the years when I've lost it, you lose everything. I try to read scripture every night. I wake up every morning. I pray. As soon as I wake up, I hit my knees. I just pray without ceasing. That's when I'm at my best. I intermittent fast. Over the years, I've been a lot heavier than I am now. I've been in pretty bad shape. Mm-hmm. I found that if I drink a shake in the morning, I go 12 hours before I eat anything else. I drink water all day. That's helpful. Helps me have more clarity through the day. I've done a couple fasts that were 2 or 3 days. Mm-hmm. I need to do better at that, because it's like the longer you go, the more clear and in tune you are, and the more you can pick things up. I try to work out about 4-5 times a week.
Okay.
Again, anytime I've kind of fell off in all three aspects, it's always one or the other, mind, body, spirit. One of those things start lacking. If your mental gets too bad or it's stressing you out too much, maybe you start overeating. If you ain't in tune with God, then now you're out here doing things you shouldn't be doing around people you shouldn't be, and now you're doing what they're doing.
Yep. Hey, that's
yeah.
All right. That's how it goes. All right. And a lot of us that do this movement work need to know those combinations, because we do a lot, and most of the things that we talk about are trauma based. If I'm talking about what's wrong at City Hall, what's wrong with the Lucas County commissioners, and why won't they call me? Hey, why won't y'all call us?
Call it.
Right. Or what's happening at the Board of Education, that's pouring out. And you can't continue to do that without taking something healthy in. And some of us as protesters have paid a heavy price, for that, not recognizing those combinations of things to do and believe that it works, and it does work. I'm a participant that when it's time for CSRN to have a self-care day, or we'll just shut down the podcast. Hey, look, we're not talking about none of that stuff today.
Yeah,
all right.
I shut down sometimes.
Yeah, go home. All right, go home, and hopefully, be at the will of the universe. We'll be back next week, but we just can't keep putting out. And lastly, we wanted to talk about gratitude. We have Anika Fields. She comes on and does what we call our empowerment toolkit, and one of the things that she's taught us is about gratitude and how powerful gratitude is. And we'll ask you 3 things you're grateful for, Robert. What would those things be?
The first thing is having purpose, having an assignment from God to give back what I've been given, and to know what that assignment is. The other thing is my kids. My son will be 17 on the 13th. My daughter's 15. There's times where I think I'm a little too much for them, but they still love me.
That's right.
And then the last thing is just being able to be around people like you guys, and finally, after so my old man was like a anarchist, anti any institution. I mean, if it had a hierarchy, he didn't want anything to do with it.
My man. All right. That's what's up.
And he was and seeing him, again, he would push for certain things. He had no mercy, and seeing things that he fought for and believed in finally start to get teeth, and grip, and start to see, okay, there's hope that these things are going to come to pass.
We ain't backing up.
Oh yeah, we're
all
here.
Right,
we're coming.
done.
We're not stopping.
All right, yeah.
And that keeps me going, and I'm grateful to have that and see this vision being fulfilled.
All right. So for the Pushing Forward podcast, how can they see that podcast? Do they go to your page? How does that?
You can, if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see it. It's also on Instagram, Pushing Forward. It's the word pushing, Roman numeral 4 word. We're on YouTube. We're just starting out. We've only done a few episodes, but probably Instagram mostly is where we get the most interactions right now. But if they follow me on Facebook, it'll be on there too.
There's a lot of people that watch that, Jody. All right, there's a lot of people that watch that.
Yeah.
All right, you impact a lot of people with the way you disseminate the word, and it's got to be different because, man, when it comes to the old guard, not all of us, but enough of us that have created this problem.
And it's just showing people that, because we get this idea that to do something you have to have all of these moving parts or all of this support. But if you want to talk to God, talk to God.
Man, look,
if you want to read the Bible, read the Bible. If you want to talk about it after you read it, talk about it after you read it.
That's right. You don't have to wait for us. You don't have to wait for us older people to give you permission.
Yeah, it's out there. You got it.
Yeah.
You know what to do. They do. These young people do know what to do.
That's right.
They're brighter and they have a lot more vigor than people give them credit for.
And we don't give them credit because we hope that their spirit dies.
Yeah.
So there's a science in not noticing. There's a science in neglecting. There's a science in being indifferent.
You see, I want their spirit to grow and ravage everything.
Well, that's happening. Well, it's happening. It's going to happen because we're not going back to those times of the early 90s when everybody appeared to be comfortable. That's when the height of political deception was at its zenith. Now we're at a point where no one's believing that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that both of the sides it's the same team. It's the exact same.
Us and them.
It's the exact same team. It reminds me of those old Scooby-Doo cartoons where in the end they pulled the sheet off of the guy. Like, what, brother?
It was him all along.
Right. I would have got away with it if it wasn't for Robert and the Metlin kids. Yeah, so that's happening now. Continue to push. We're pushing for answers, and I utilize my eldership because I'm older and I know we're lying because I sit in the room with you guys.
Yeah.
If I put on a tie, hey, they'll just accept me. They don't know that. I'm gonna tell everybody when I get out of here so that they'll know who not to depend on. So have faith in yourself in the God that you serve. And there's a lot of things in this older generation that you're going to have to lose all hope.
Amen.
All right. Because we don't mean you well. And they know.
That's the truth.
And they know I know.
Yeah.
All right.
At every level.
All right. Hey, would you be willing to come back and talk a little bit more about the Push Forward podcast and anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great. Right. That'd be great. It was a great experience. Appreciate y'all. Love you. I would love to come back.
Most definitely. Hey, fam, we're going to come back with Jody Summers and updates. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
If you can ride a bike without falling, then you're good to go. Bike Rides Matter, it's a community bike group. We get together for fun, fitness, and fellowship. We ride weekly. Right now, we got a Tuesday ride where we ride on the UT Trail. We do Saturday right here at Uptown Green. That's our glow roll Saturday night. It was something I was already doing with my daughter, just riding bikes, and we just decided it would be cool to add the community because we were just finding ways to make fun given the situation. Being that everything was closed down and options were limited, bike riding is one of those things you can do without any restrictions.
You get to make new friends and just like interact with people, especially during COVID. You still like have your mask on and stuff, but it's still good to like see people.
It's a cool way to stay fit. We talk while we riding, we got music while we riding. I've met quite a few new friends and new people. I made some real cool connections throughout the city. Take advantage of the time you have. Take advantage of this pandemic. I know it's a lot of restrictions, but you can be creative and find new ways to have fun, one of which is this right here.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, so we can review in. Man, before we go any further, big shout out to Robert Smith.
Yeah.
And Pushing for Word coming in today. And, you know, I met him maybe a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. And, man, everything that he was talking about, I'm like, yeah, I'm with that. And he was saying some other stuff. Yeah, I'm with that too. And, hey, we made it work. And just talking about the spiritual component and what's needed now, and particularly with our young people and everyone else, to be able to talk about it in the format, you know, like this, that it's not all stuffed shirt, all right, or anything like that. And he looks good too, to be able to, you know, to do that. And Jody, I talked to you earlier. Yesterday, I was meeting with a friend of mine, and I came across a letter regarding the water meters. And there's a lot of people in Toledo that are noticing that their water meters are sparking and they're catching fire. And when it's brought to the attention of whoever is in a position of leadership, there's some strange and unusual things happening. And I came upon this letter. I'm going to read the letter as it is. And after that, Jody, we'll just let the chips fall where they may. All right. You know where we're at my branch library. So, you know, if whoever these names that I'm going to call, if you
pull up.
Yeah, you can pull up. All right. As a concerned citizen and employee of the city of Toledo, I'm asking for a call to action to investigate into the actions of Commissioner Todd Salms and Director Doug Stevens of the Public Utilities Division of a cover-up and withholding grave information about the sparking water meters. They were notified of the fire hazard of the water meters from the recent meter exchange in early 2024. Well, that was last year, so this is recent. A public broadcast should be put in place to ensure that all citizens are safe. This administration's actions to put politics before safety of the citizens shows that they have no integrity, morals, and values. This information was withheld because they did not want this issue to affect the mayor's run for a third term. And we both said at the same time, like, all right, like, yeah. They were notified of this issue. They were notified that this issue affects all citizens that had a recent meter exchange. This administration ignored the plea to revisit all homes that have had the meter exchange to check for loose ground wire that's attached to all meter settings for a fire hazard, along with notifying the fire department. The fire department should have been notified for safety issues with the sparking ground wires next to the lithium batteries in basements and garages. So I've got one of those, Jody, and just reading this, I've got one of those lawnmowers that have the lithium batteries in it.
Yeah.
And guess where I have my lawnmower? Right by the water heater. By the water meter.
Phones and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Lithium.
It goes on to say that this administration only wanted to address the customers that called in because they noticed the ground wire was sparking in the basement. They were told about the elderly citizens and renters who do not access the basement to know that the meters are sparking, and this put all customers in grave danger and needs to be addressed. This administration is incompetent, lacks leadership, and needs to be called out for their actions for withholding valuable information and the concerns for the safety of the citizens of Toledo, Ohio. The Commissioner of Water Distribution, Todd Salms, and Director Doug Stevens did not want to pay out overtime to revisit these homes. Instead, they utilized one employee from tapping and construction to only visit the customers who called in about the issue, even though the employee is in a different department and does not know how to handle the situation. He was told to have the customer call an electrician to address the issue, even though it was caused by the city of Toledo from the meter exchange. Lastly, the city has passed this cost to the customer to pay for an electrician, even though they were told that the customer did not absorb any cost for the meter exchange. I'm asking you to investigate this issue before tragedy strikes and loss for selfish reasons of this administration. One fire and one life lost is too many. The citizens of Toledo need to know what has happened and what lies ahead. Sincerely, eyes wide shut. And as I met yesterday and talked, they also said that many of the employees that are voicing some concern about this issue are being forced out, meaning that if I have a concern, they're going to transfer me to another department just so that they can continue to transfer people out of the department until they just have sycophants and yes people in their place. All the while, people like myself that I own a home, I've got one of those meters and it has a lithium battery in it, and they need to come out. I'm going to move my lawnmower, but they need to come out, whatever it costs, and just come to the people that have the water meter exchange.
Right.
They haven't. Everybody hasn't had a water. They haven't swapped out their meter. I have. So come and check it the same way they have the gas meter. Folks come out and check. Mm-hmm. The same way they have the water. Yeah. That's back in the day. Right. We just climb up and unhook it when they come out. All right. Right. All right. You messed up my whole thing. Thanks, Jody. But all right. So what's going to end up happening with this is a great chance you may be hearing about more about this in the news. I may be one of the first to read this because they needed someone to read it that, hey, we can say what we want, exactly. and kind of do what we want.
Be the voice of the people. If jobs and securities, I got some shoulders they can rest on.
All right. So I'm looking forward to if there's a press conference that we have to do to address this. Let it happen. We did the same thing on the South Side.
Yep.
With the dumping of.
And look how that situation turned out. Still didn't want to listen.
Right. And it was 4 years ago when we first started regarding not to dump in Toledo. No one listened, and we kept going. As Robert said, we were pushing up. Mm-hmm. And as we push up, more people come to help. And we met Robert, we met Roberto Torres, and all of us pushing together, all right, made it happen. So we're going to push together on this issue too, because I've got a water meter. I've got a new one, and I don't want that. I want, if one of the meters needs to be recalled, recall all of them. The same way they do with our cars.
Yep, and phones and stuff like that.
All right. And listen, I got one more update, and then we're going to get into our community updates. 5 minutes of heat. It's 7:06, so I'm going to, I don't want to say I'm going to make it quick, but this is concerning this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. Once again, big shout out to Mott Branch Library. They have the Final Call here. We just got them in today. This one is, the headline is Israel widens war with massive expulsion of Gazans from homeland. And I'm going to just read this article to you. This is from the Final Call newspaper. And if you want, you can find this story at finalcall.com, or you can wait till Saturday and find me on Bancroft in Detroit and get a paper from me, or you can read it online. All right. It says international anger at Israel's unprecedented atrocities in its war on Palestinian people is mounting, with growing calls to end the conflict as it nears 2 years this October 7th. At the anger of Israel and its chief backer, the United States and several Western nations, including France, Australia, Canada, Portugal, and the United Kingdom and Belgium, are set to join more than 140 countries in recognizing Palestinian statehood. The formal announcement is expected during September's annual United Nations General Assembly in New York. However, despite verbal condemnation, mounting demonstration, even within Israel and capitals worldwide, Israel has doubled down on its extreme behavior, amplifying carnage in Gaza, intensifying repression across the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem, and widening the war front to include Yemen. For some of the observers and organizers, Israel's reaction is unsurprising to what they say is only symbolic recognition of statehood. Lastly, they could be doing more. Words are cheap, said Mohammed Sankari, spokesman of the United States Palestinian Community Network, that's from Chicago, referring to the nations that decry Israel's war conduct on one side, but maintain relations with the occupier on the other side. I think we had our sister Wela Canaan that came on last week from the American Students for Palestine, and we had pushed back against the Lucas County commissioners that invested in Israel bonds, and they said that they're going to look into it after that fund matures. But we deserve to push back however we can, and make sure you get this issue of the Final Call also regarding other articles in the Final Call newspaper, either finalcall.com, or you can just subscribe to digitalfinalcall.com as I do, and I get it digitally. But I got a stack of 1,000 papers at home, but I still got it
reminds me of my posters.
All right. Okay, Jody, let's make it about you. Let's just make it about you. But anyway, along with the Final Call newspaper, this week's edition, go and get that newspaper. And then we have them at Mott Branch Library. We'll be having them at Bobby Howard's, Yummy's, and Seaway. All right. Right next to the Cigar of Truth. That's where they put all the papers now. All right. All the black papers are Seaway. All right, there. All right, hey, Jody, I think that covers all of my sub-dates and community updates. Have you been a part of something or seen anything that you want to update everyone on?
Well, actually, for the people that do read my timeline, I decided to take a summary days off. I guess you could say, for people that know me of being everywhere all the time and all the stuff. I needed some days because I have quite a bit going on over the next 8 weeks until November, something like that. I show like 3-4 shows every single week. So I took Friday until today, actually my first, bless you. Y'all may not hear that for somebody sneezing in the room, but so
our whole podcast is in the trash now. All right, we might as well delete. Where's that button at? Just delete it. It's all good.
But and as I talk about it deals with self-care, and is my favorite joke, and I get to say it today, that I used to say all the time. What happens when you put a Christian, a Buddhist, and a Muslim in the room?
Oh, that was today with Robert, you, and me. Yeah. I was gonna say, okay, which one was which? Because we was all saying the same. We were saying the same stuff. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. But you don't remember what the saying is, but the saying at the end of that line is like 3 people walk into a bar. What comes out? Change.
Oh,
I love that saying.
Okay. Okay. All right. I see what you did there. I was looking for us to get canceled again. All right. Okay. All right. Let's packing up my stuff now. Let's go ahead and go.
I only keep those jokes in my memes.
All right.
But
what's up, bro?
So I took my 4 days off. The actual first words I spoke was to my bus driver today was have a good day. And that's the first time I spoke any words to any human, I guess you could say, because nobody really calls that much, being an artist, entertainer, all that other stuff. You would think that people like bugging you, but it's mostly people on social media. It's like, that's hey, right. Do me a favor for some recognition. And I'm like, hey, I need gas money. But I'm balancing now. Again, everybody knows I got a grandbaby. I'm done my 10 years in the industry. This is actually my tour, the end of my tour, because starting next year is going to be a lot less because I want to spend more time at home, less on the road. I want to buy a house within the, deep breath on that, next 1 to 2 years. And it's going to happen. I've done all this in that sense. So I did not go out. But because I am everywhere and because I do have to be aware of stuff, sorry to executive committee that I missed, sorry to Pamela's birthday that I missed, sorry to my other board meeting for historic, Vistula, and stuff like that. You know, sometimes you can't be there. It's not that I'm not important, but it wasn't necessarily important for me to be at those things at that time. I'll get notes, I'll get emails and stuff like that.
Don't forget, Robert talked about pouring back in yourself. Yep. All right. So let's
and starting this week, I'm going to be pouring out a lot. I think I got 8 events, but we're gonna go with the stuff that we had going on for our last show. Sorry for anybody that does try and book me on the Tuesdays. It's just not happening. But it depends on how life goes. But going back to Thursday, which was one of the first days from our radio show, we had taken it to the streets. Pacos at the Park, they do every year, which is the Faces of Hunger with the Salvation Army. They had an event downtown at my former residence of Pacos at the Park, which is just now an event center. There is no Pacos at the Park anymore, but I work at the Art Museum now, so it's awesome. And
they know you're on this show. All right, Art Museum. All right, Art Museum, do your thing. All right, he will be available on Tuesdays. All right, you know we said that Palestinian thing. All right,
well, that's when we get our trucks in and stuff. Actually, this week we got Block Party coming up, which I'm off technically, but not really. But Thursday, also September 4th, there was The Paper. And if you don't know what The Paper is, it's like a spinoff of the popular, famous show, The Office. What she said. Anyway, that's about the only joke I know from that show because of all the memes. But I did watch, you know, the memes and stuff from The Office and their banter. And this one is actually, it takes place in Toledo, Ohio. It's based on a newsroom. It's called The Truth Teller. There's one person in there. If you haven't watched the show, we got to do the premiere at Imagination Station and some trivia, thanks to Film Toledo, Destination Toledo. The news was there, a whole bunch of the city paper was there, and a whole bunch of other people. It was a good experience. We got to see the first 2 episodes exclusively. The Blarney, not the Blarney, but the paper, the Toledo City paper, the street paper, Toledo Streets, Free Press. They had one too, and that was over at the Blarney. But I enjoyed the Imagination Station, getting to see everybody. See the one dude who is just like shorter in person, news anchor. I forget his name. You can catch me in my photos and stuff.
I am not calling out his name. All right, that man probably thought he was 6 feet tall. All right,
it is because he was like a little bit shorter than me, and I was like, oh, you look bigger on screen. But
I can't take you nowhere. All right.
But it was fun. I got to learn about some stuff. They even threw in some Toledo trivia in there, like what it was Imagination Station before it was that, and it was COSI. Learned a lot of facts about the show that I'll probably never be able to use anywhere else about The Office. They retained Oscar. And there is one character who, as I was leaving out, I told Fletcher Ward, he reminds me of him, old reporter that would go out there and sleuth and actually do stuff. And it's a good show. From what I got from the humor of The Office, it retained a lot of that fourth wall breaking and stuff. And since we kind of do media, I've written some articles for The Blade and The Truth and The Journal and all my books and stuff. It was refreshing to see how they were talking about the updated stuff. Like when I went to PBS a couple of years ago to do my poem, I was thinking it's going to be bustling. There's going to be lots of people. Even when I go to Channel 11 to do the stuff with the donor people. I can't think of the name right now. They got a green wristband, but I go there with Rochelle every year. Newsrooms aren't what they used to be. It's just a couple people there, and it's not like busy and stuff. So I like the aspect of that. But that was The Paper. You can watch it on, I believe it's Hulu, where also my movie Eeny Meeny is, with Disney Plus and all that good shameless plug stuff. But that's what was going on Thursday. Friday was the Toledo Gem and Rockhound Mineral Show in Wood County Fairgrounds. Saturday, there was spoken word in nature at Toledo Botanical Gardens. I believe that's going to be a recurring event. Shout out to CC Crystals, a friend of mine, done some poetry on the patio and everything like that. September 6th was that birthday party that I'm sorry I couldn't make it, Pamela. Wish I could, but I was in the house making sure to be adult things. Saturday, September 6th, there was the Metamorphosis fashion show at the Ribbon, Toledo Metro Parks. I've seen some clips and stuff. I've been acclimating myself I think I've started getting online around 1 o'clock. So acclimating myself, seeing what's going down my timeline and everything. Sunday, September 7th was the NWOPC AMP Toledo UTJS SPMDC. I'm just reading what I got right here.
Okay, all right.
I don't know what all these letters mean, but I'll go click on it. It was and the film in Toledo for Palestine. So it was a film screening of the Emancipants and discussion what really happened at Columbia University Gaza Solidarity Encampment. So all those names, I'm guessing, were organizations that were part of bringing us together.
Right.
And that's the truth of a lot of things. When you do grassroots, you're going to have like a multitude of NASCAR sponsors, and you don't have to worry about the corporate entities that could tell you, hey, you're talking too much. And finally, Monday, September 8th was the first in, I believe, a series of Talking Trash public input meeting. It was the Saginaw branch. If you worried or wondering what's going on, because the garbage contract for Toledo is up and they're doing all the stuff, what can make it better, what's words, don't turn it into Broadway. Shut up about that. Anyway, so that was some of the things that happened in between last show and this show. This week, as everything's starting to wind down, all the outdoor events and stuff are going on. Here's some stuff that I have on the docket. You will see me very heavy Saturday, but you may not see me because I'm Batman. Somebody told me at the park jam, I didn't even see you. And that's okay. But happening right now is the open mic, the listening room at Handmade Toledo. I believe this is going to be a monthly event every second Tuesday. And I promise I will try and be there if we end the show early or something like that, because we don't end here till 8, and Tuesdays from 5 to 8. There's nothing else going on in the world for me that's more important, unless it's elections. Next 2 months, we'll be off air because we got some official duties to do and stuff like that. Also happening right now is the Art of Scale Up Small Business Owners. This is in the Inglewood community. It is going on. It's a series of things. It starts September 9th to October 28th. And today is at 5:30 to 7:30 is 3053 Monroe in Toledo, Ohio. So that's where the session is going to be. You can find it out through the Toledo Urban Federal Credit Union. Awesome bank if you ever bank with them. Tomorrow is Rally in the Alley at the Ostrich Town. If you don't know where that is, that's directly across from Bertha Mays on LaGrange. So if you're driving down Summit, and they had the Greek American Festival that was going on last week. So if you attended that, hopefully I'll see some happy photos and everything like that. But Rally in the Alley is tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Also tomorrow at 6 o'clock, which is my day of going to everything in the world for the next 8 weeks. At 7:30 is the Respect Your Mic Poetry on the Patio at the Code in Toledo, Ohio. That is an open mic for anyone that wishes to be able to come do some open mic. We do have one feature. Sometimes it's more. Lady, the feature for this week, and that is at 827 Star, Toledo, Ohio. Come out and show the Code some love. I'll be there and all the stuff. This Saturday is it the day where all the stuff is going to happen in Toledo and you feel like you're not doing enough. This Saturday at noon is the 10th annual Great Lakes Jazz Festival, 2205 Kenwood Boulevard. That is Ottawa Park, the amphitheater for anybody that's not familiar with Toledo. Also this Saturday at 3 p.m., which you will see me, I'll be painting the tree, doing the Chalk the Walk in honor of Ohio's overdose awareness. Me and Brother Washington, I believe, was the very first one. I did one year before last, right before I went to Chicago and stuff, and painted an awesome tree. You might see some photos on my page, but that is 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. That is going to be at Promenade Park, which is on the other side, not at the Glass Pavilion area or stuff like that. And also this Saturday is Toledo Museum of Art block party. Speaking of my job and all the stuff I do throughout the community, they do have, I believe it's one of the finalists from The Voice, even though I believe personally it does not affect the show. We should have had Lena up there since she is, from Toledo and made it that far and all that good stuff. But they got some other guy that was there, and they're going to have food, face painting, all the good stuff. It's my day off, so I'm going to pop through there after I get done with the Chalk the Walk and painting my tree. Also, this Saturday at 4:30 is the Avoglow at Toledo Museum of Art, a separate exhibit that they're going to be having during the whole block party. This Saturday at 6. Also, there is the Toledo Night Market presented by OPC at the Toledo Farmers Market. In 2 weeks, it's going to be a big event there because we got Automatic 419 coming up. Yeah, I'm preparing myself for that. But that is from 6 to 10:30. I don't know if Haley is down there. Okay, Pretty Protection. So she's going to talk about it. Well, she can't talk, but she's going to talk about her experience if she comes next week. She's in the background right now.
Okay.
But 6 to 10:30 p.m., make sure you head down to the Toledo Farmers Market. I believe there's free events when they do all of that stuff. So, it's free, so you don't have to worry about parking and stuff. You may just come
You
early.
got to worry about parking, but you don't have to pay to get in.
Pay to get in, just get there early. Rain or shine. So yeah, I'm getting exclusive news reporter stuff.
So now
Rain
you know
or
how I
shine.
feel. Good. You just got Jody. Good. I'm glad. There is a God. All right. There you go. All right.
But rain or shine, make sure you get down to the Toledo Farmers Market. Also, this Saturday at 6 p.m. is Uncloistered Poetry, September 13th at the Attic on Adams. They do features. I see Hunter Prey is on there. I'm trying to read the flyers. We got Molly, somebody, and Robert, somebody, because they in cursive and like stretched across the screen. But I know Hunter Prey. Hunter Prey is a good friend of the show. You don't know who that is, but that is going to be at the Attic from 6 to 9 p.m. And also this Saturday, shout out to my friend Jared Boom Bomb Frazier. We are doing studio party number 11. You can find the information on my page or his page. This is at the House of Rock, downtown Toledo, Ohio. If you just want to chill, have some vibes, or you want to record something on the spot, this is the place to do it. That is going to be going until midnight. So that is my Saturday. We're also coming up before we come back, and I say I got 5 minutes before 5 minutes of heat, is the Latino Scholarship Day Parade. That's going to be at the Toledo Mud Hens. I believe Chili Rodriguez, I heard him posting some stuff. He's got a mural he's presenting over there. Also, shout out to Dean Davis for all the murals. And I believe there's an opportunity for artists to come in on that.
Mm-hmm.
But beautifying the city and stuff like that. Imani Latif has something on the Glass City Center building. And it's been nice seeing all the colors come up over this summer. And that is all the stuff, I believe. We'll do one last little check before we come back. Tuesday is, yes, so that is all the stuff happening before we come back next Tuesday. Also next Wednesday, I do want to say, if you love my poetry and all the stuff that I do, the show or open mic that got me into poetry is the Poetry and Soul, hosted by Kay Renee. Last year we went for about 11 months, but that's the thing that got me into poetry 11 years ago. And it's going to be at Toll House next Wednesday. If you would like to come, it's going to be at Lucille's Lounge. So hopefully see you out, see you there, and all of the good stuff.
All right, let's get ready for 5 minutes of heat. If you like what we're doing, you want to support us, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Listen to us on Spotify, like Jody said. And also, we're on YouTube. I'm going to post our page later on so that you can subscribe. We're looking to get at least 100,000 subscribers. I'm not going to tell you where we are, but we're itching very, very
Probably
close.
More people than my page.
Right. If you want to support us via Cash App, that's Cash Tag CSRN Toledo 419. PayPal is CSRN 419, and soon we will be posting on X, formerly known as Twitter, as soon as Jody
Epstein files are released.
Okay, as soon as they've released the Epstein files, we'll be posted. Okay, unredacted. As soon as they post the Epstein, give us the Epstein files, unredacted, we'll start posting on Twitter. So I'll start holding my breath now. Our YouTube is Community Solidarity Response Network Toledo. That's a very long name. However, once you click in a couple of those words, it'll drop down. Click notify. Click subscribe. So every time we have a podcast, you'll be the first to get it. We do have our Black Lives Matter signs. We have a few left. You can see them right behind us. And we have our Defund the Police signs. Be one of the first on your block for the fall season to get your Defund the Police sign. Jody, I think that's all I had to cover for today. And now as we close out, we have something called 5 minutes of heat, where instead of closing our meetings with a gavel or a meeting adjourned, we kind of put some style in it, and we call it 5 minutes of heat from the song 5 Minutes of Funk by Houdini back in the 90s. Nobody in the studio was even alive, all right? I think Robert was 2. He was 2. Okay, all right. He was 2 years old then. Or not even thought of, man. So we took it, we flipped it, and we offer creative expression. And for the past 14 years of CSRN's tradition of having 5 minutes of heat, Jody has done the heavy lifting of bringing that. So, Jody, what do we have today?
We have, it's going to be short like last week. I want to shout out to all the people that's actually on the channel. Your mom says hi. Donna J. Smith. A.A. Neruda says wow. Georgia Daniels says she needs a sign. And shout out to Yogi. He does a show that I interviewed on, I believe it was last year, like right in the beginning of last year. So shout out to all the people for leaving comments and stuff on the live video on Facebook. And if anybody, I don't see nobody on YouTube, shout out to the Miss who kindly let me know later on that I misgendered her from our comment on YouTube and stuff like that. So shout out to them. And this piece is short and sweet. It was just like a thought bubble. But now that I have built the legacy of books and stuff like that, I could do my little thought bubbles. So this is called I Found Art. Let's begin. Peace. I went searching for love and found myself trapped in art, exposing parts of myself I never knew existed, to remain single until someone tells me they're actually flirting and not just impressed by my survival. It's kind of working out. I get to travel to other countries, be part of the legacy of my city, and be that guy, yes, that guy you have to warn people about before you start following him unexplainably in private because he touched your soul. Now you're trying to figure out if he's talking about you anonymously, even though he publicly states he names people and probably doesn't even know you're watching his page while you read this in his voice. In peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. Hopefully, Jody, next week we'll have Haley in to talk about pretty protection and some of the things that we can do ourselves to keep us safe and aware. And maybe we'll bring in some Black Lives Matter moments. I wanted to have one about the T-shirt that I'm wearing. So I'm wearing Duncan. I'm gonna wear the same T-shirt next week. Oh man,
I'll go see if I can find our yellow shirt. That's what I'll go wear.
Okay, all right, that'll work. All right, and as always, all lives can't matter until what Black Lives Matter, and Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else.
Yeah.
Peace.